are you white?
Oh my god, Karen, you can't just ask people why they're white.
Whoa, that was kinda racist. But even though Cady's the outcast among everyone in her school, she's kinda the most problematic, and I firmly stand on that. Even though there's people like Regina George, I still think she did everything wrong. Let me explain.
The Big Dipper.
Cady reminds me of a lot of people I went to school with. The stereotypical high school coming of age story where you do whatever it takes to fit in. Except this time she's seen as a black sheep since she spent most of her days in Africa. And most kids at this school think that's one giant village with no running water, but that's a story for another time. However, Cady's kinda the exact same as Regina George. It's like looking at a mirror. That's the irony of the entire situation. As much as Cady and her original friend group want to take revenge on the plastics, Cady ends up becoming just like them. That's the danger of infiltrating as a spy. Sometimes you forget the whole point of the mission. Catch feelings and end up being all cozy with the opposition. Happens to the best of us. The first sign of this is when she pulls up to the blondie's house and tries to throw Damian under the bus in order to fit in. Then slowly as the film progresses, she starts to seek their validation more and more. She even has an entire scene in the movie where she reveals to us that she hates them, but she likes them at the same time. Things that often make you feel good are bad for you, like cocaine for example. You have to remember that being popular in school was the equivalent of being a social media influencer. This film takes place in the early 2000s. Being a cheerleader or an athlete or a flat out popular kid was like being a 5-star general. And that's the perfect reference point because just like social media fame and high school popularity, both are fleeting. Anyways, in all honesty, I don't like Cady because she has no backbone and she's just a constant reminder that women can never seem to get along. She arrived at this school and linked up with the other social outcasts and all of a sudden she's wrapped around their finger. She just got here and decided to roam around with the first group of people who are like, come and sit with us since you two are considered a loser. Let's be friends. Like you don't even try to explore your options. You just said, aight. Cady seems like the type of person who would dive headfirst into a volcano simply because her friends said so. Like come on Cady, you're not even blonde. You're supposed to be better than this. She literally went from being the guinea pig used in one huge revenge experiment to facilitating her own simply because she won't stop fantasizing about Aaron. By the time I reached the second act of the movie, I kept telling myself, she doesn't really like this dude. It's just that Regina was being an asshole and decided to give him the smoochies in front of her. This movie is intended for all audiences, but this act of betrayal Cady had to witness is basically the equivalent of getting cucked. Basically, Cady Heron was cucked without her consent. Which is kinda sad because later down the line, the playboy gets told Regina's been throwing it back for someone else. Can't trust these hoes. You live and you learn. If I was Aaron, this would have made me embark on my villain arc, but that's just me though. Back to what I was saying. Like I said, Cady starts to mirror the behavior of her newfound posse. Guess they weren't lying when they said you are who you hang with. She becomes so bad that her original best even calls her the title of the movie. She's indeed become a mean girl. By the end of the movie, Regina gets what's coming to her. I low-key kinda felt bad for her. Regina's the perfect example of someone who gets their way no matter what. There's even a scene in the movie where she brings this boy over to the crib and her mom just bursts into the room and offers to bring her rubbers. At least she was concerned, if you can even call it that. It's kinda strange how the whole student body ends up being mean to Regina at the end, yet she's the mean girl. Like literally. Either way, all in all, Cady learns a valuable lesson. That being just learn to be yourself. If you thought I was going to say something else, then you're dead wrong. To atone for her sins of being a member of the plastics, she even helps the mathletes. She gets her grades back up and goes back to her nerdy ways and stops simping for Aaron. Well, kinda. Some habits die hard, but hey, at least in the end, Regina got a taste of her own medicine.
Please check out the socials to keep up with the channel. The owner of the channel would appreciate it a lot. See you in the next one. Mwah.